Three concepts for cell biology. Yeah, that's Sean over there. Yeah, Sean joined us. Do you want to join us to read too? Okay. So, cell biology. Explain how cells are observed. Define the three main parts of cell theory and explain the levels of organization in an organism. First, we have a picture of, these are all cells right here. And the first part is, what are you made of? Cells make up all living things, including your own body. This picture shows a typical group of cells, but not all cells look alike. Cells can differ in shapes and sizes, and the different shapes usually mean different functions.
Introduction to cells. A cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. Some organisms, like bacteria, consist of only one cell. Big organisms, like humans, consist of trillions of cells. Compare a human to a banana. On the outside, they look very different, but if you look close enough, you'll see that their cells are actually very similar.
Similar.
That's what I said.
Observing cells. Do you want to read, Sean?
No.
Okay. Most cells are so small you cannot see them without the help of a microscope. It wasn't until 1665 that English scientist Robert Hooke invented a basic light microscope and observed cells for the first time. You may use light microscopes in the classroom. You can use light microscopes to see cells in Figure 1.1. But many structures in the cells are too small to see with a light microscope. So, what do you do if you want to see tiny structures inside cells? In the 1950s, scientists developed a more powerful microscope. A light microscope sends a beam of light through a specimen or the object you are studying. A more powerful microscope, called an electron microscope, passes a beam of electrons through the specimen. Sending electrons through cells allows us to see the smallest part, even the parts inside the cell. Without electron microscopes, we would not know what the inside of a cell looks like. Here's a picture of Figure 1, the outside of an onion cell. That's through a light microscope. We can actually do that in class. And there is an electron microscope looking at much smaller details of a sample of pollen. That's pollen, little stuff that makes you sneeze.
Yeah.
Cell theory. Back to you, Christina.
In 1858, after using microscopes much better than Hooke's first microscope, Rudolf Virchow developed the hypothesis that cells only come from other cells. For example, bacteria, which are single-celled organisms, divide in half after they grow some to make new bacteria. In the same way, your body makes new cells by dividing the cells you already have. In all cases, cells only come from the cells that have existed before. The idea led to the development of one of the most important theories in biology, called the cell theory. Cell theory states that 1. All organisms are composed of cells. 2.
You gotta say it in Spanish.
Cells are alive and basic living units of organization in all organisms. Trace. All cells come from other cells.
As with other scientific theories, many hundreds, if not thousands of experiments support cell theory. Since Virchow created the theory, no evidence has been identified to contradict it. Specialized cells. Although cells share many of the same features and structures, they also can be very different. Each cell in your body is designated for a specific task. In other words, the cell's function is partly based on the cell's structure. For example, red blood cells are shaped with pockets that trap oxygen to bring it into other body cells. Nerve cells are long, stringy, in order to form a line of communication with other nerve cells, like a wire. Because of the shape, they can quickly send signals such as the feeling of touching a hot stove to your brain. Ouch. Skin cells that are flat fit tightly together to protect your body. As you can see, cells and shape in the ways they help do their job. Multicellular, many-celled organisms have many types of specialized cells in their body. Figure 1.3, this figure right here. Red blood cells on the left, right there. Specialize in carrying oxygen. Neurons, center, right there. Conduct electrical impulses to many nerve cells. And these epidermal cells, the right, make up the skin, in quotes, of plants. Note how the cells fit tightly together. Levels of organization. Back to you, Christina.
White cells are the basic are the basic units of an organism, such groups of cells that can perform a job together. These cells are called specialized because they have a special job. Specialized cell can be organized into tissues. For example, your liver cells are organized into liver tissue. Your liver tissue is further organized into an organ, your liver. Organs are formed from two or more specialized tissues working together to perform a job. Or all organs, from your heart to your liver, are made up of an organized group of tissues. These organs are part of a larger system, the organ system. For example, your brain works together with your spinal cord and other nerves to form the nervous system. This organ system must be organized with other organ systems, such as the circulatory system and digestive system. For your body to work, organ systems work together to form the entire organism. There are many levels of organization in living things. Figure 1.4.
Thank you. Vocabulary. Cell, the basic unit of structure and function of living organisms, the basic unit of life. Cell theory, scientific theory that all living things are made of cells, all life structures occur within cells, and all cells come from already existing cells. Electron microscope. A microscope used a beam of electrons to magnify an object. Microscope, an instrument that is used as lenses to produce magnified images of small objects. Levels of organization. Here are levels of organization. Atom, compound or molecule, organelle, cell, tissue, organ, organ system, and organism. Organs, tissues that work together to perform a specialized function. Organ system, organs that work together to perform certain functions. Tissue, group of cells that work together to perform a specific function. Summary. Would you like to read the summary, Christina?
Yeah. Cells were first observed under a light microscope, but today's electron microscopes allow scientists to take a closer look at the inside of cells. Cell theory states that all organisms are composed of cells. Cells are alive and the basic living units of organization in all organisms. All cells come from other cells. Cells are organized into tissues, which are organized into organs, which are organized into organ systems, which are organized to create the whole organism.
Very good. And here's our practice. You're supposed to answer these 5 questions, which you can get to by clicking on this website here, which takes you over to this site over here, which you go from the very biggest thing, a coffee bean, way down to the littlest, tiniest thing, a carbon atom. Remember, that's carbon atom way up to coffee bean. And then you answer the questions that are right here, 1 to 5. And then you want to answer the review questions, 1, 2, and 3. And there's our reference. And I'd like to thank Christina, and I also like to thank CK12 and the authors of this. Say thanks to the authors who are right here. Where do the authors go? There's like a PhD people. It was very exciting. There we go. All right, so this was CK12, Cell Biology. Signing off, Mr. Ruby and
Christina.
and special guest Sean. All right, bye-bye, everyone.